Midnight music. 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 Midnight music.
All right. This is good. All right, so where was I? Now that you're all set up and you're good to go, right, Nate?
Yeah, we're good to go.
All right, perfect, perfect. You sound like a dream, obviously. So yeah, you haven't been on in like 2 months, which is kind of quick for you. The stream is about to go bananas. Really funny, Frats. Really funny.
Well,
Has he
you know,
has he seen the logo yet or not?
I have not shown him.
Okay,
I've
because I
looked.
know you talked about it on our Discord.
Yeah, it's going to be exclusive for everybody. So I'm not going to be one of those people that's showing favoritism to certain people. It's like once everybody knows, you'll know.
You know, how's that working on that gimmick reveal, by the way?
It's still a work in progress. I got
Take your time.
so much. It's one of those things where I got a lot of work going on, so I just have
Mm,
to. I just have to find the time to actually start getting that content going. So
gotcha.
it should be happening before Christmas time. So.
Yeah, what's the rush? No rush at all. I will wait patiently. Yes, you shall wait patiently. I might have to relook at it and maybe do some touch ups, you know, kind of the Marvel method, touching up till the last minute. Speaking of which, that was my segue into guess what movie I saw this weekend?
Uh, One of the Barbie movies or Five Nights at Freddy's.
Neither, actually. neither, neither at all. No, I went to see the Marvels, which I don't know. I don't know if we've ever. I know you're a movie person in general, but are you a big Marvel MCU person?
So I will say this that I am going to be doing a podcast on the Game Changer podcast where I'm going to talk about, in my opinion, that Spider-Man No Way Home is the best Spider-Man movie ever.
I
So
could
if
agree with you on that.
so if that's a testament to my fandom as a Marvel fan, then yeah, you could say I like Marvel.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. One, you should probably go see it. I know there has been, and I'm using this as a soapbox because it's my show. But there has been a lot of, I think, shitty takes about this from a lot of what I will call incels. What's scaring me about the Marvel community or the MCU community is it's becoming, it's reminding me of a toxic wrestling community.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's getting up there at this point. I'm like, this is kind of not what I came in here for. Where it's like people's tend to, but it's worse in a sense.
Oh,
Because there's they don't even try to kind of like they don't even try to cover the misogyny or racism behind it now. But people were trying to like bash the movie before it came out, and it's just very like white male misogynistic too, and it's kind of shitty because like the Marvels, in my opinion, because I don't go by the opinions of others, and I try not to, especially when I'm viewing content that I enjoy, like pro wrestling. It's a fun movie, and I think what happens to a lot of companies like Marvel, WWE to an extent as well, is that when your bar is so high for content, like when you have something like a WrestleMania, which is WWE's thing every year, and then for Marvel at this point for the MCU, it was like Endgame. Endgame was like the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest movie of all time. Um, you know, that bar is set so high, but when it's something that's a little bit lower than that bar, people get upset about, and they start to do like, oh, is the MCU dead and blah blah blah. But like, not everything's going to be WrestleMania. Not everything's going to be Endgame, and that's by design, because then you will not appreciate those things. Some things have to be of a lower quality. I'm not saying the Marvels is of a lower quality. It's just different, and I don't. And what I also think people don't realize, especially in the MCU, is that the MCU is not a genre. The MCU takes different movie genres and plays with them. And that's the brilliance of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that everything is a different genre of music, and now at this point, television. And be it as may, The Marvels is really fun movie, and it suffers from the actor strike because the actors and the writer strike because during a strike you cannot promote struck work.
true.
You know, like the writer strike ended Tuesday of last. Not the writer strike. Sorry, the writer strike's been done. The actor strike ended Tuesday night.
Something around there, yeah.
The movie came out Thursday evening. what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? I mean, they tried their hardest. Brie Larson was in New York City. She showed up to like one of the first showings and introduced the movie. Iman Vellani was somewhere doing something. They both showed up on like was it Fallon? They showed up on Fallon on Friday night. I think Brie did as well as Loki, which the Loki finale was unbelievable. It's great. You are very true. We can say it peaked for now, but there's a thing, and as you know, it's called peaks and valleys. So you can valley, but it means you're going to probably peak. So they're trying, but it is a really fun movie, and if you keep that in mind, like I always try to keep in mind, especially with wrestling, like I'm here to entertain myself. I'm not trying to ruin my own happiness with this, and it was a fun movie. It's an entertaining movie, and actually, if you keep on following Marvel, and if you have thus far, it really, especially for Phase 4 and 5, it really starts to put everything's starting to come together now. It just took a lot of time to get there, but now the walls are kind of closing in, which is kind of very, very cool. And also, by the way, Pedro Pascal is going to be Mr. Fantastic, is apparently the rumor now, which just happened like an hour ago. It just broke.
Very nice.
Yeah, no, it's very, very nice. So I would definitely say go check out The Marvels. And even if you hate the movie, and I'm not going to spoil anything because we're still within the first week of this thing coming out, there is one of the most mind-blowing mid-credit scenes I've ever seen in my life coming out of Marvel. To the point where I went with a friend of mine, and they were like, "You're not usually like mind blown and at a loss for words." And they were like, "I just saw you like that."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So let me at least ask this: compared to Captain Marvel, how is it?
Better.
Okay, that's all I need.
Better. I mean, as origin stories aren't. Origin stories are really hard to be continuously entertaining. I mean, Marvel knocked it out of the park with at least 2 of 4 origins, or a couple of origin stories. The first Iron Man is an amazing movie, top to bottom. It's the copies in the Library of Congress, by the way. Captain America: The First Avenger is a fantastic period piece. What are other good origin stories that they've done? Let me look at my wall. Hold on. Guardians 1, even though it's not really an origin story. Black Panther. Shang-Chi is a fantastic origin story. I really did like Shang-Chi. And I think it's about it. So Marvel's, but like, origin stories are great, and sometimes if the origin story is too great, it kind of outshines the other sequels. Look at Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3, and things like that. However, I thought this was a good... It was good for Brie Larson. It was good for the Captain Marvel character to add Kamala Khan and Monica Rambeau. Because I believe a lot of criticism I know from some of my friends was that Brie Larson's like a one-note pony, kind of in Captain Marvel, which I didn't see it that way because I thought her and Samuel L. Jackson played off each other well, but I would say it's more entertaining. I will say Kamala Khan, Iman Vellani as Kamala Khan steals the show. She is. If you saw Miss Marvel, she's exactly what you think she is, and it makes the movie that much better.
I saw her in her Disney Plus deal, and I thought she did a pretty good job. It was one of those things where I'm
awesome.
Yeah, no, I had nothing really against it.
She is I've like from what I've seen of her, like in interviews, she's the same person. Like she's the same person she plays as Kamala Khan. That's just her personality.
Also, I'm kind of trying to pay attention to you, but I'm also looking at like the comments that are being.
Don't mind Saquon.
The whole thing with the Super Saiyan deal, I'm like, oh sweet, cool. As long as I get a Dragon Ball Z reference, that's fine. I only need one.
No, it's really cool. But if you are a true MCU fan, and you know I went to Comic Con a couple of weeks ago, I think I might have told somebody. So I went and bought this at Comic Con as well, and I went to a panel with the writers of the book. So it's called MCU, the Random Marvel Studios. It's a really good read. I'm surprised I finished it as quickly as I did, but it's fucking fantastic. And you can get this on Amazon. I highly recommend you get it because it talks about the beginnings of the studio and how it came to be, and all of the ins and outs. It's like an unofficial one, but these are from people who had done Variety and a bunch of other big editorial journalists, and they got all these interviews about things going on. I know, Taquan, I bought 7 actual books at Comic Con. Sue me. There are some comics in there. But I did also. I have Kid Cudi's first comic, which is not coming out till January, so take that. But no, this is very good. I learned a crap ton about this MCU and made me love the MCU even more. For instance, Samuel L. Jackson doesn't like to run.
Really?
So he requested multiple times, when he first got Nick Fury, that he didn't want to run in any of the scenes.
Weirdly enough, I mean, I remember seeing Nick Fury in the cartoons and stuff like that. I don't know if I remember him running that much either, but
It's a Samuel L. Jackson. You know what it is too, as well. They almost had to cast him as Samuel L. Jackson. Well, because when they redid Nick Fury, when they redid Nick Fury in the comics, the artist drew him like Samuel L. Jackson.
okay.
So to not do a lawsuit or get in sort of legal trouble, they pretty much brought him in as Nick Fury. And
One of my favorite things is somebody did a playthrough of a Marvel game a long time ago, and
okay.
and it was one of those things where you could be multiple MCU characters for.
Oh, is it the Avengers game?
No, it wasn't that one. I think it was definitely before that. I'm thinking maybe 20 teens, something like that.
Okay.
But it's really fun. There's this cut scene where you meet up with Nick Fury, and the gamer just goes Nick Fury? I thought he was black. Depends on which universe you're in. And the gamer just goes, this universe sucks. I want the black version.
Oh, we're going to talk about that, Mr. Freds, but was it... Oh, Taquan says, was it Ultimate Alliance?
It probably was, honestly.
It could be Ultimate Alliance.
just know that it's one of the ones that has the white Nick Fury, the one that nobody wants.
Oh, who played the original Nick Fury in the movies? Because it was a white guy. I forgot who it was. I know it's off the top of my head.
Fred's is confirming it's Ultimate Alliance. So
It is Ultimate Alliance. All right, we have confirmation. It was Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Very good game, by the way. Which is funny because I just watched a video about the new Suicide Squad video game, Kill the Justice League.
that sounds amazing.
That's right, Black Nick Fury was exclusive to the Ultimates. But in the main universe, they introduced Black Fury as White Fury's illegitimate son, which is a Maury show waiting to happen. It really is a Maury show waiting to happen. But you want to know how funny Iman Vellani... Apparently Iman Vellani keeps a notebook on hand, a personal notebook of different MCU-related questions that she, about continuity and all this stuff that she, badgers Kevin Feige with all the time.
Oh my god. It's amazing.
She's awesome. But speaking of Iman Vellani, this came to mind because I read this. I finished reading it a couple of days ago. And so you know how MCU kind of messes around with whether it's 616 or Earth 99999?
Okay, sure.
So originally the MCU was designated as Earth 1999-99, so 1999999 or whatever. But then they're no, it's actually 616, and people are kind of all screwed up about it. They made fun of it in Across the Spider-Verse. Miguel O'Hara makes fun of it in Across the Spider-Verse. So Iman Vellani said during a presser for Miss Marvel, she goes, I don't believe that the MCU is 616, as much as Kevin Feige can make us think that it's 616. She said to the press while walking the red carpet for the premiere of Miss Marvel. She later wrote that after she aired her fangirl grievances, Feige caught her eye. She's quoted as saying, "He just stared at me from afar and gestured 616 with his fingers and walked away. I think about that every night before bed."
Oh my god, that's amazing. So, so on one spectrum, we have Tom Holland almost spoiling every single movie, and then we got her literally like, no, I'm keeping the continuity with the movies.
Yeah, she's challenging the continuity, and Feige does not want any of it. Feige's the man. You if you read the book, you'll come to like Kevin Feige. There's a lot of weird shit that's in the book. Not weird, but very interesting reveals. Like for instance, they wanted Emily Blunt to play Black Widow.
Huh.
And they wanted Mark Ruffalo from the start to play the Hulk.
Which probably would have made better continuity because considering that's what they went with.
And
I
took
mean,
away a lot of headaches because Edward Norton is very difficult to work with, apparently.
wow, what a shock.
Yeah, so it's some crazy stuff. So definitely check that out. But yet also check out the Marvels in theaters too. By the way, this isn't it's not a paid promo, of course, because no one's paying me to do shit. But if anything, for like your real true comic book nerd, wait till the end. Seriously, wait till the end. There's a couple of great reveals.
I mean, it's a Marvel movie. Why wouldn't you wait to the end?
This is true. Nate's doing mocap in another room. Would you? All right. So I just want to shoot this out there before we get to talk to our bit of wrestling. If you were to be a mocap character we'll be specific, from the Marvel universe, who would you want to be mocapped as? And I'm saying mocap character as in you cannot play this character as like just yourself. You'd have to be like an animated, like a Groot or like a Hulk or something like that.
So I'll try to like list like maybe like top 5 people I would be. Number 1 would be Spider-Man because fucking A, he's amazing.
Okay, I mean, you're half mocap, but I get it. Continue.
I've really loved how Paul Rudd has played his version of Ant-Man, so I would love to probably give that a chance, especially considering the fact that even though he's a criminal, he's also a family man. So
he has a master's in electrical engineering. Like, he's not dumb.
Yeah, no, he's definitely not.
So you have to buy that book, by the way.
Just for the one-time appearance, I would love to be fat drunk Thor from Endgame.
Bro Thor, okay. I thought you're gonna be Pip from Eternals.
No. Oh, jeez. Trying to think of the other two. The other two, I would definitely think Eddie Brock for the Venom deal.
Okay.
I think Tom Hardy does a pretty good job, but I feel like somehow I could do. You know what? I could do better than Topher Grace. Let me just say that right now.
That's not that hard.
No, it is not. We're basically saying Eric Foreman. No, dude, get out. And final one, maybe Rocket Raccoon.
Ooh,
that would be an interesting one. But I also think Bradley Cooper does an amazing job with that character. So it's one of those things like.
And Bradley Cooper's just the voice. Sean Gunn is a physical person on set.
Oh, that's fair. Maybe like incorporate, like fuse together Groot and Rocket to become Rocket Groot.
Root. I am Root.
I am Root.
Yeah, I am Root. Let's see. If I were to do specific CGI characters from the MCU, that maybe even have, I might be. I don't want to do Smart Hulk, although don't let the glasses fool you. Maybe Maestro Hulk. Maestro Hulk would be fun. No one thinks in Comic Sans, Taquan. Maestro, I would love to be Galactus.
Oh,
Because that would just be ridiculous. Maestro Hulk Galactus. I'm thinking like who would actually have to be like a CGI Mocap Nightcrawler. It's not bad. Who'd else would be like a CGI'd character that they would have to make be almost full CGI? Like Galactus was my first thought, and then Maestro came in. Maestro, Galactus. I can't do Eternity's kind of nothing. Oh, Mephisto, because that would be just fucking fun.
Eat my fisto.
Eat my fisto. Silver Surfer's a good one. I still think that's gonna be what White Vision turns into. That is my hope. Is White Vision becomes a Silver Surfer, who then warns of the coming of Galactus, which I think would be cool. I'm also gonna take Silver Surfer from you, Taquan. Although I'd be more like a Silver Body Surfer. I'd be a silver boogie boarder. This is what I'd be. Oh, and Hank McCoy, obviously. I think Hank McCoy would be at the top of my list. You don't know who Hank McCoy is. You should look it up. Hank McCoy is a real life name of a very, very influential mutant who might also be blue.
Oh, blue abadi abadai.
Yes. Yes. Might have very I would love to play a CGI'd Hank McCoy. Hank McCoy would be awesome. But with that being said, should we get started?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's get started. Mind you, folks, there's going to be no background music because Kelsey Grammer did play a great Hank McCoy, I'm not going to lie, and I do need to start watching the reboot of Frasier because Kelsey Grammer is flipping hysterical.
Yes, he is.
I don't know what it is about Kelsey Grammer, but I freaking love the guy. Yeah, but mind you, folks, yeah, Will is clearly not here, probably for the best. But he's. But so there's going to be very, very silent background music on this live stream. I will fix it all in post when the actual edited version of this episode comes out. So there will be a little bit of a long pause because I'm trying to time up when I'm supposed to put in the music and all of that stuff. So you're just going to have to get used to it for a while. And if you don't like it, just wait for the regular episode to come out tomorrow. That's all I can tell you. That's really all it is. But yeah,
just deal with it.
Seriously, just deal with it. No, and midnight music a little bit later probably, or when they do our outros and stuff.
For some reason, I thought that said Mighty Mouse.
Nightcrawler. I'm Dean Kurt Wagner, the incredible Nightcrawler. The Fox stuff is the best. He is Sideshow Bob. That is very true. Hi, Smiley. Hello. It's going to be a big Midwest feel for a while because I had Matt Ritter on, you're on, all from the Midwest. Smiley's going to be on next week. Surprise, surprise. We're going to be doing Survivor Series. That's probably not going to be a live show, but that will be a recorded show because it's freaking Survivor Series. What the hell else are we going to talk about?
There is going to need to come a point where we do another WrestleAddict Radio Warfare deal. Like, I don't know if you remember when we did that deal, and
oh yeah, my throat still burns from that. I'm aware.
I still remember Will's literally just being like, "We're doubling up on this next time we do it," and he is just suffering.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. But yeah, so let's get to it with this really, really weird it's weird intro. Hello, Smiley. Oh, I was supposed to say, don't read Fred's comment. Fred is saying hello to Smiley, not reading to me. Anyway, I'm having fun this week. Fred's, keep us posted on AEW because there are some stuff that we're probably going to need to put in there, but we will get to that because we are shifting gears. Starting right now in 5, 4, 3, 2. Coming up this week on Kings of the Rings podcast, we are shifting gears this week and putting the gears in the hands of TK Tony Khan. God help us all. It is AEW Full Gear Week, and we are going to look through all of the big matches that have been announced for Full Gear happening on a Saturday. And with me this week is the great Nate. Nate, the effing great host of the Brace for Impact podcast, is going to try to help me steer this ship that is AEW Full Gear. And oh yeah, Tony Khan has a bunch of other freaking announcements, so sit back, relax, and Jesus take the wheel. It is Kings of the Rings podcast, episode number 359, Shifting Gears with Nate the Great, exclusively here on Wrestle Addict Radio, and it starts right now. Well, hello, everybody. How are you today, folks? Welcome to a live episode of Kings of the Rings podcast, episode number 359, Shifting Gears. I am your host, King Rickie. Thank you for joining me again on this lovely Wednesday night, November 15th, 2023. If you like what you're seeing, or if you like us just in general, please like, share, subscribe, leave us a 5-star review, or just leave us a review or a comment in general. Buy some of our merch. I'm wearing some of my great merch right now. Links to all of that are in the description below. We have a really fun episode for you tonight. We are going to be talking a lot about AEW Full Gear, because Full Gear is this weekend. Next weekend is Survivor Series, and then we get a little bit of a breather before we get into the end of the year. And oh yeah, there's this thing called Wrestle Kingdom we have to start preparing for as well. So helping me shift gears and to steer this Tony Khan coke-infueled ship that there is the host of the Brace for Impact podcast, covering all things TNA and Impact, whatever the hell they're calling themselves these days. Ladies and gentlemen, back again for the very third time at this point. I don't even freaking know. Nate the effing great. Nate, how are you?
Oh my gosh. As soon as you said Tony Khan, I'm like, oh joy, this is going to be one of those good shows.
Yes, it is.
This is going to be one of those
shows. Yes, it is.
But let's start on a high note, because the only way we can do that is by announcing from the Kings of the Rings podcast.
Yes,
this
please.
Is King Rickie Rose.
I swear that one of these days we are going to actually have to record that, and then I'm going to just embellish it in post and make it like the most ridiculous. I'm talking like royal trumpet horns and all of this stuff, and that will be like my intro to anything I do. Like, it'll be on like my rider if I ever become famous. Like, this is exactly the thing you have to play before I even make an appearance on your show. Like, that's what I'm going to be leaning towards. But we'll see how that goes.
It's one of those things where it's like, we don't have contracts here, but we're going to have that inserted into the contracts in there somewhere.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's a clause, but it's one that I approve of. So
exactly. That's how things are going to be. And so let's get into this week in wrestling before we get into Full Gear, which we're going to talk about a lot. But we got to talk about the things coming up on WWE, and there's a lot of excuse my French, which I don't know a lick of these days, as I had a C average in high school. But there's a lot of gang shit going on in WWE, and for instance, Drew McIntyre has partnered with Rhea Ripley, because I don't want to say the Judgment Day. I want to say Drew McIntyre partnered with Rhea Ripley, and if we're being honest, why wouldn't you? Look at that face. Look at that face. It is not going to be the intro of Tales of an Epic Nature, Mr. Preds. I have something completely different for that whenever that returns. Hint, hint, wink, wink. But Drew McIntyre has sided with the Judgment Day, potentially being their maybe fifth member for War Games. I mean, there's only been one War Games match announced, and it's 4 participants on each side. I know War Games has fluctuated between 4 and 5 throughout the last couple years whenever War Games has decided to rear its head, either in NXT or on the main roster. But with War Games so close, and it being in your backyard, Nate, Chicago, which I'm. If I really get bored, I will drive up there to Chicago as a big if. But I have a lot of friends where I can stay, so I don't care at this point. And I bought my car, so I don't have to care about mileage. Do you believe that Drew McIntyre will be the fifth member of a Judgment Day War Games team?
I do, as a matter of fact, and I do believe that Dirty Dom is going to be replaced by Daddy Drew. In all honesty, it's
Really?
just one of these things. It just makes sense, honestly. I mean, for a long time, I always said that it was always Daddy Champa, but Daddy Drew has a really nice ring to it. Daddy Drew and Mommy Rhea. I mean, it writes itself right there.
It is the alliteration of it all. I can't deny that. Daddy Drew just kind of works.
It's one of those things where I would love for in the matchup for Drew to just do a Claymore to Dominic and then just throw him on top of somebody and Dom still gets the pin. Just like, I don't know why. It's just one of those things where it's like such a weird thing to do, but at the same time, Drew would be that person and be like, stay away from my lady. Also, make sure we win.
All right. So you're saying that Drew replaces Dom altogether, keeping it 4-on-4.
Honestly, you know what? I didn't think about that, but honestly, I think that makes even more sense at this point.
Interesting. That would be very. I mean, because JD McDonough is now a full-fledged member of a Judgment Day after the longest pledge process I've ever seen. You don't even make freshmen go through that much of a pledge process in college. So you got JD, you got Damian who is doing things. You got Finn, and you got Dom and Drew. I mean, so let's just say for argument's sake, that Drew becomes the fifth member of Team Judgment Day, which is kind of weird, but I'm fine. Who then becomes? I guess it's Team Cody. Team Cody and Seth. Like who becomes the fifth member of that team?
So there were some rumors that it may be Randy Orton, but I've heard rumors that have debunked that. So if I were to take somebody different, I think this may be a bit of a chance. But at the same time, can you think of a better way to debut a new star on there, but to have them in War Games? I would have, honestly, Braun Breaker debut in that and just wreck shit up, as a Steiner would do.
My only issue with that is that Braun is on such a fun heel run that I can't see him debuting for the face team, like reverting back to a face where he was okay, but it wasn't anything that like made him stand out. I feel like heel Braun, that's a problem. Heel Braun Breaker's a problem. Face Braun I feel like is a step back.
But I also would like to say, can't you just see though him just spearing Finn, JD, and especially Dom in midair in such glorious fashion?
Oh no, I do have this kind. Survivor Series debuts are historically a really important thing. The Undertaker debuted. Scott Steiner himself debuted at Survivor Series.
What a debut! Give me the freaking mic.
Yes, among other things. Yeah, he beat up Matt Hardy and
Chris
Nowinski, who ends up being one of the most powerful and influential people in sports history, which is crazy to think about. And yeah, there's that. So the Survivor Series debuts are usually held for something that's really big or returns and things like that. So Randy Orton makes sense. But if we want to go the Braun Breaker route, I need, and this is me just being a dick, I need Braun Breaker to come out like 96, 97 Rocky Maivia. Like, I want pineapple haircuts. I want the blue... I want the blue whatever he was wearing. The tassels. I want the whole thing. Like, give me it all. Like, totally... And I need, like, Michael Cole to be like, and there's a blue chip right there. Like, I need the whole thing.
Brawny Steiner Via.
Bronny Starter, yeah. Now, or he comes out in the chainmail headpiece that his uncle would wear all the time, which I thought was a dope look, and I still think it's a dope look. I put my 2K character in that chainmail headpiece all the time. I really do. But if we go do 5, I think Randy Orton's a great because he's a face and he's a legend and he'll come back as a face no matter what. But what if it's Jade Cargill? Like, like what if? Like, what if?
I mean, all the hype up. I mean, that's one way to debut her. There is just War Games.
Seriously, I mean, they're hyping up Jade a lot, and I feel like rightfully so. She's money, like she is. She's money. She will print money in whatever she does. But at some point, it becomes like a money in the bank thing. You keep dragging it out and dragging it out and dragging it out that you're going to forget about. And like, you got to kind of strike when the iron's hot. But then again, I also understand that WWE wants to make sure that a talent like Jade is shown in a proper fashion. You know, and they're not going to try to embarrass this high profile signing. Be it as it may, Survivor Series War Games would be his. Like, if she becomes essentially the lone survivor in War Games against the win and just like bodies all these dudes, like how ridiculous would that be?
That would be the moment where she just peaks in WWE. And it's like literally, she'll just mouth the words TK, and that's it. Just the arms out, being like, "Look what you missed out on, bitch."
See, I can see Tony Tony would be happy and crying at the same time. He's like, it's so beautiful. We should have renegotiated.
Yes, you should have. But the problem is that she looked at the women's division. It's like, oh, I gotta go to a place where there's a better women's division. Well, WWE seems to be doing better. Let's do that. But what about TNA? WWE, it is.
Yeah, well, I guess we're calling it TNA now because we're never just going to call it Impact anymore since the rebrand.
I didn't call it anything else besides TNA. I refuse to call it Impact because it was just one of those things where, and I've mentioned this before, that I feel like Mick Foley drags down TNA quite a bit during his run.
Mm.
And I'm watching the shows, I'm like, oh gosh, this is not as good as I remember it being. But that'll be for later on, and I'll make an announcement about the future of Brace for Impact going into 2024.
Yes. Yeah, keep that thought in mind. But let's move on to some other stuff. Continuing to be the gang warfare. Damage Control is 5 people.
Holy shit.
Yeah. It's
the Damage Triads at this point.
Who knows? Listen, Kairi Sane, best elbow in the business. I like how she's still Kairi, but there's a little bit more of a grit to her. Thank you, New Japan, for allowing us to have Kairi evolve. To me, this clear... And Asuka joining was kind of... You had to see it coming. But still, everybody kind of always wanted Asuka, Io, and Kairi to kind of be a thing. Not just because they're Asian, just because that would be an awesome faction. To me, at least. So, like, this kind of makes sense, but this also screams War Games. Like, this also screams Damage Control has made 5 people just for War Games, and they might split up after this. That is my prediction with that. So, with that being said, so let's say Damage Control, Team Damage Control is Women's War Games. Because Women's War Games is going to happen. Like, that is a guarantee, because Io's going to jump up of something big, like the top of the War Games case. That's what Io does. Look at NXT. So, Nate, I'm going to give this to you. Name the 5 women that go up against Damage Control in War Games.
That's a tough one.
I'll count them for you.
All right. So, I think right now that we're going to put in, because she has to be in War Game matchup.
Oh, that's a Charlotte Flair one. Yep, that's Charlotte's one.
Bianca Belair.
2.
I'm also trying to think about who the other women are on the SmackDown roster right now. Just because she is a face, I'll throw in Zelina Vega.
Interesting call. She's got her own issues to deal with.
Well, I mean, Does she though? Because there's a part of me that thinks that it's because of a certain 619 member that kind of brought it on, but that's beside the point.
We'll get to
So,
that in a second. But yeah, so you got three.
um, she's got to make a comeback sometime. Oh wait, that's right. Shotzi's going to be involved in that.
That's four.
Um,
Who's your fifth? That's the big one. Who's the fifth?
I've heard people say Becky Lynch, but I say give it to Mia Yim.
Yes. Yeah. I think
Yeah,
so. I like that idea of giving it to Mia. I like that a lot. I don't know how Zelina fits. I also wouldn't know how Becky would fit either, and I because I think it's been well documented the animosity, the real life animosity between Becky, Rebecca Quinn, and Charlotte Ashley Flair. And like that almost played out very horribly on TVs. Remember the title exchange ceremony? You know,
boy.
yeah, yeah, very bad TV. So I don't know if that would even be a possibility at this point in time. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Because
I
like,
say
go
if
ahead.
they like the whole like brand warfare deal, I could see it, but I think that with them now having general managers that are establishing, no, we have brands, we have our exclusive people, they need to do it. It just makes more sense to keep it that exclusive deal. So if you have it to where it's like brand exclusivity, Raw gets men's war game, SmackDown gets women's, I'm all for that.
Yeah,
Because at
I'm all
least,
for it too.
but if they try to like put somebody from a different brand in there, then they're basically saying we're still saying "f you" to the brand split. Sense, and people have complained about that.
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting, especially with everything that's gonna go down with, especially with the Raws, the biggest TV deal that's still in limbo is the Raw deal. Because NXT has a new home. Excuse me. NXT has a new home. NXT SmackDown has a new home. We're just waiting for Raw's new home, if they even are going to get a new home. So that'll be very interesting. Dakota Kai. Oh, good call. Good call, Sir Charles. Welcome to the show. Dakota Kai is not healthy yet. Dakota Kai will not be ready for War Games. So because I forgot, that knee is real messed up. So that actually, it could be women's 4-4.
Okay.
Which then, if you eliminate Zelina, that makes sense.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, totally forgot that. Thank you for that addition, Charles. That's right. Dakota Kai is not going to be ready until I think early next year. Like we're talking like middle WrestleMania season next year. She'll be wrestling. Like if she wrestles now, it would be really weird. Because from what I've heard, that knee is tore up from the floor up. Like it's not looking good for her.
I'm hoping it's not a situation where it ends her career because
I don't think it is. It's just one of those things that they're just like, take your time.
I, I hope so. But at the same time, I feel like with a different person at the helm, I feel more confident that Dakota Kai is not going to be asked, okay, so you got about 3 months of recovery. We're going to put you on tonight. It's fucking Xia Li. Yeah. Oh, why? Why? Oh, it's fine. It's just going to be like one kick. And then one kick later, her knee is still messed up.
I love the Xia Li run. She's becoming the new Mike Tyson, and I freaking love it. Justice for Xia. That would be great. So let's move on. So it could be a women's 4-4 too, which would be very, very interesting. Also, more gang stuff, and now we have infighting between the one gang. Yeah, I love this photo too. Santos, if we all watched Crown Jewel, deliberately, and no one can tell me different, deliberately left those brass knuckles there to take out Ray. Now, I'm not saying he's in cahoots with Logan Paul, who is trying to pawn off the United States Championship. He literally brought the U.S. title to a pawn shop and tried to get it appraised. But this seems to be a bigger story. Kayfabe aside, Rey Mysterio needed knee surgery, and so you wrote him off. But this was coming anyways, I feel like. And to be honest with you, Nate, I like it. I always thought NXT Santos, when he was running Legato, was a fantastic character. And the LWO thing was perfect. It was good, but I think looking back at it now, raise out to 2024. Yeah, knee surgery takes a long time. I think looking at it now, it kind of, and maybe they felt like it wasn't ready, but it kind of pushed that Santos character to the side. And he kind of just became a guy. You know, where in NXT you look at Santos and you're like, this could be the guy. Instead of a guy, he could be the guy. And now hopefully this gives Santos a time to shine, especially as a very cool kind of Don Santos Escobar that he was cultivating in NXT. And, you know, get knee surgery, Ray. Do what you need to do. What do you think of Santos potentially taking the helm here?
Love it. I think that Santos definitely needed a bit of a rebrand, and I do think that we are eventually going to get probably Santos versus Rey Mysterio on a big-time pay-per-view. Probably not at WrestleMania if that's going to be knee surgery, because we know our history with Rey and knee surgeries, and they, like we said, take a while.
Yes, they do.
And it is kind of funny that now I'm just realizing, oh, wow, so when Rey Mysterio loses big, it's because he's got to get surgery on his knee. Oh, my gosh, this is a weird trend. At this he lost his world title because he needed to get knee surgery. Oh, well, he lost this title because he needed knee surgery. Oh, he's losing this big matchup. But why is he... Knees? Oh, got it.
No, but it's good. It's good. I think Ray did what he needed to do with LWO, and they're great. And let's see what do when Santos kind of takes the helm. It should be different, but you know, this gives Santos some time to shine. What's up?
I will say this: that if they make this faction a heel, that may be a problem because they're always going to be overshadowed by the bloodline.
That is true. It is possible that Santos could go out on his own, which I kind of don't like. But I mean, the big thing here is like, what's the thing with him and Carlito? That's the big kind of thing you have to solve at the moment to see where this is going to go. And yeah. I like it. Carlito versus Santos, I'm all for it. Let's move on and let's actually shift gears to what we all came here for, probably. What we all came here for. But yeah, it's AEW Full Gear is happening this week, and it's actually happening on Saturday. And I don't remember any time where an AEW pay-per-view has actually been on a Saturday. I like the move, but however, because it's on Saturday, a couple of things are changing. Usually, Saturday is filled up with this show called AEW Collision. So Collision is not happening on Saturday. What's going to happen?
Oh, no.
What's going to happen is that on Friday night, you are getting Rampage and Collision.
Oh, it's worse. Oh, no.
Yes. Yes, on Friday night, you are getting Rampage and Collision leading into Full Gear the next day. Be it as it may, this is late breaking. This happened a little bit earlier. This happened a little bit earlier, a couple of hours ago before we started recording. It has been revealed via Tony Khan's Twitter. So Tony Khan tweeted again that he allegedly has a big name signee that is going to be showing up Full Gear Weekend. I believe it's going to be on Friday. Collision versus SmackDown. I know who's winning that one. So Tony Khan says he has a big wrestling name coming to LA to sign their contract to become an official member of AEW. And it's somebody who was well respected already within the AEW locker room and is heralded, according to Tony Khan, as a top performer in the industry. That's all he said. He probably said too much already, because why would you ruin your own surprise, Tony? But whatever. I know who I don't want it to be, but I have no idea who it could be. But I'm going to leave that to you, Nate, and you guys in the chat too. Throw out some guesses about who it could be. But who do you think, as I almost throw a pen, who do you think is Tony Khan's big signing in LA at the Kia Forum, which is an historical place in and of itself. But who is Tony Khan's big signee this weekend?
I do know that if it's all red everything, I will lose my shit.
If it is Eva Marie, I will be the happiest person in the world. Listen, folks, let's bring the camera on me. All right. There is nothing I love more than seeing the IWC burn to the ground. And Eva Marie, heralded as a top performer in the industry, and signing her contract in LA on AEW TV would make me cry tears of joy as one of the greatest things I've ever seen in the history of wrestling, just because I want to see the IWC burn to the ground. And that would start the flames off once again. Karl Malone would be hysterical as well. Great call, Charles. Ooh, that is an interesting one. Our Smiley. Hulk Hogan. It's not Hulk Hogan.
You don't need any more BS in wrestling. Come on.
Yeah, and I knock on wood, I do not believe it is Mercedes either, as well. But I didn't think about this. What if it's Dolph? Smiley said it's the show off. I have not thought about Dolph. Some people said Punk. It's not Punk. Or Sheldon Benjamin. That's also a good guess, Smiley. Sheldon fits Tony's MO, I think. Mustafa Ali, I don't think Mustafa's showing up on AEW. Not right now.
I'd love to see it be Sami Callihan. I think that'd be a good one.
Sami Callihan's character fits AEW's product really well. Sami Callihan will be great.
I would love to just see, like, right off the bat, Sami Callihan just come out. Moxie's just trying to be buddy-buddy to him, and Sami Callihan's just like, no, just pile drives him and just be him like, it's not happening. Sami Callihan, John Moxley, here you go. There's your 2024 feud of the year.
Honestly, I know a couple of people who are diehard Mox fans and also diehard Sami Callihan fans who would have a hard time trying to pick between the two. Callihan, Mustafa is out in freelance wrestling. Okay. Perk Angle. It's not Perk Angle. That is different from Kurt Angle. Let's get that clear. There is Kurt Angle and there is Perk Angle. I do know the difference, Fred. There are two completely different monsters. Okay, and I don't think either of them are showing up on AEW this weekend. Dolph, I think, is a good one. Sheldon's makes sense. Sami Callihan is a good one as well. Who else would just be like out there? Why don't you be like Dana Brooke? Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans, all of them.
It just reaches a point where when he says special announcement, you're going to get either something good or utter disappointment. So I'm not throwing that. I'm not throwing that away. Where being like, oh, it's not Dana Brooks. Like, you know what? At this point, Tony Khan doesn't know how to do a special announcement anymore. It's probably going to be a disappointing.
Here's the thing with Tony Khan's special announcements: they're not special anymore.
No, because they happen every week.
They happen all the time. Yeah, I don't care. I mean, Ospreay is also a good guess as well because Ospreay is still out there, and Ospreay is now open to being more confined to the States. Mm-hmm. Which good for him. Flip's not going to CMLL. I'm going to say something that's going to piss a lot of people off, and I really don't care. Speaking of CMLL in Mexico, it goes against everything Tony said as a well-respected wrestler in the industry. What if it's Tessa Blanchard?
Oh, boy. That, I think, other than Eva Marie, that would be the moment where the IWC would just be like, are you fucking kidding me?
Eva Marie would be funny. Like, let's get this straight. Eva Marie would be funny, and I think that would be great. Tessa Blanchard would actually be very problematic for a lot of people.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people. Ospreay's contract ends in February. He can still sign an intent and not show up on AEW TV for a very, very long time until the end of February. It also gives him time to drop Bubba Fish freaking IWGP belts.
I will tell you this, Ricky. I do have a quick story to tell you that's
ahead.
even related.
Oh, please
So,
do.
so I don't know if you remember this back at WrestleMania 32, the final Raw, where
Yeah.
it was like Team Total Divas versus Team Bad and Blonde. That's what it was.
Oh, that was the pre-show match. I was in the state. I was in the arena for that match. That was Brie Bella's retirement match, kind of.
So that Raw where we were just trying to figure out like some of the like who's going to be like the final member of Team Total Divas. I
Yeah.
just remember sitting there with my friends and I said, I have a horrible feeling that's Eva Marie, and my friends are just kind of like, I don't think she's going to be that ready for it. As soon as we heard the music, and she comes out, we literally, one friend is freaking out. The other friend leaves the room and he is silent for the rest of the night. For me, I was at first like awestruck and like thinking, what the hell just happened? But then about 10 minutes later, I had a laugh attack. I literally was laughing for like 5 minutes straight and I just couldn't stop. I was broken at that point. So that would be another moment where it's like, you want to see me die? Have Tony Khan sign Eva Marie to AEW.
Listen, in some instances, I feel bad for Eva Marie because she was never given a chance from the jump. And I think with the right time out of the camera, she probably would have done really well. I do say, I will say this, that her second run in WWE, when they just played up the whole shtick, was amazing. Loved every moment of it. When they just played up the fact that she's just like ridiculous and can't really wrestle and like finds ways to win matches, like that's a great run. It's a great run for her. But hey, more power to her. She's doing her own thing. What if it's Mandy Rose? Speaking of people to it's possible. Like Mandy Rose did a dumb thing and got fired. As far as her contract went, you know what I mean. Financially, it was great for her. She's making crap tons of money.
Oh, yeah.
But as a character perspective, right when she got fired, she would be great. Like, that character is a great character. She finally found her shtick, and she unfortunately got fired because she did a contractually dumb thing.
I would love her first line to be like, I got fired because I was too hot for their television show.
Honestly, that's a great opening line for her. That would be a great opening line for her. Just call it out, say what it is. She's a hot bitch. Like, just call it what it is. You know, Mandy would be a good one, I think, for them.
And she has what was that thing called with Mandy, Paige, and Sonya? Was it Absolution or something like that?
It was yeah, it was Absolution.
Absolution reunion with her and Paige.
Exactly. Tony signs OnlyFans itself. That's a good one.
Yes!
That's a good one. That's a good. All right, we can go all and on about this, but Full Gear is happening this week, and it's on a Saturday at the Kia Forum. One of the, I think it's a local landmark for LA. But Showtime Lakers are there. A lot of legendary concerts have been there at the Kia Forum. Pretty awesome historical venue that AEW is going to be doing this show and over a series of shows in, and they have about 9 matches on this card. And the first match we're going to talk about is the main event, which will probably be the main event. The AEW World Title is going to be on the line. MJF, the reigning AEW World Champion, versus former IWGP Heavyweight Champion, the Switchblade Jay White. This is what the show is supposed to be built off of. We have Jay White being a natural heel, that he is. MJF being a face, which I'm still kind of struggling with him as a face, because I think it's because I know too much of his hometown stuff, because both being from Long Island, we kind of have the stereotypes about each other. So I don't know if if MJF drops here or he drops later, especially with his contract coming up. And I know I talked about this I think last week or so, but I'm having a hard time with this. Is like the big question here is, when do you have MJF relinquish this? You don't want a CM Punk incident. You don't want him holding the title hostage while he renegotiates a contract. Like, you don't want to do that. Like, if Tony Khan should learn from anything, you should learn from that. So when do you, and all, the Montreal screw job and all that stuff. So when do you comfortably let go of this title? MJF has been carrying this company significantly well as a very homegrown talent, as one of the better homegrown talent champions that AEW has had. There hasn't been many of them, in the world title scene at least. But you have Jay White, who can play a great heel, and what makes a good babyface is a great heel. Because a good babyface is really good in the chase. So I don't know here, but I feel like they're going to go safe here, and my prediction, before we move on to you, is that MJF retains here, but he loses soon afterwards. That's what I'm going to go with. Nate, what about you?
I'm going to give you the perfect prediction right here. So,
I can't wait for this.
MJF is going to retain via shenanigans from the devil themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what's going to happen is that MJF is going to somehow get the diamond ring, smash Jay White in the head with it. 1, 2, 3, it's over. Afterwards, two devils are going to pick up Jay, toss him out of the ring, look at MJF, pull off their masks, and it's going to be revealed to be Will Tereshaw and Kay Murphy. We know it's you two. We know it's you two. That's why you're not on the show, damn it. Stop playing this game.
Will and Kay are not the devils. Kay is an angelic being. Will might be the devil. I'll give you that. Will might actually be the devil. I can't speak so ill of Mix Murphy, of kayfabe. So I when you were talking about the Dynamite Diamond Ring, I was like, wow, what a like they had like. When AEW first started, there was, I thought, the Dynamite Battle Royal and the Dynamite Diamond Ring was gonna be something of significance, and it's not. Like there's no lore around it. There's nothing there. And so why even use it at this point? It's kind of just one of those things, like, if you've been watching AEW from the beginning, you know what the Dynamite Diamond Ring is about. And it's about nothing, is what it is. It's just there. Like, MJF doesn't... in my opinion, I feel like MJF doesn't play up the ring enough. Like, he never really brings it up. He doesn't really talk about it. Like, it should be this ongoing... It should be as iconic as Regal's Brass Knucks or Foley's Sacco.
I could pull a dick move and say that that's the only diamond ring that he's going to have on his life ever, but it's out there now. I'm sorry, guys.
True. But yeah, so we're both going MJF here by nefarious means, because that's what MJF is doing. But the bigger question is, as you kind of already alluded to, who is the devil?
I mean, it's Will. We know it's Will.
Yes, but in terms of AEW's kayfabe, it is not Will. But who could legitimately be the devil?
I've had a lot of people that have given their ideas for it. Some people have said that Adam Cole's faking it and it's going to be him. To which I say, I would believe that, except for the X-rays. But there's also
that foot is jacked up.
It's one of those things where it's like, how crazy would it be if Adam Cole was able to find a way to make this X-ray look legit, like it just looked like it was just jacked up, and he comes back and he was faking the injury the whole time, to which I'd be like, that would be one of the greatest swerves in all of wrestling.
It would.
I don't know. It's just one of those things where you have somebody who's kind of like a smaller build. So some people might say like, "Oh, Samoa Joe's the mastermind." It's like, well, you're going to pull a Rikishi on here now, where he's just like, he's like, "I did it for the devil. I did it for Wendy."
If he said it for Wendy, that would be great TV.
It's a different Wendy. It's somebody from like New Japan who it doesn't even relate. But I don't know. It is probably one of the best mysteries in AEW right now is who the hell is the devil right now? Because it should be MJF because he has proclaimed himself as the devil, but I don't know if he can replicate himself.
That's my thing. Because I felt we solved this issue with MJF, with him being the devil. I thought that was known that he was the devil. And so it confuses me that the devil is now showing up again, which kind of makes for good. That's the reason we're here. You know, if MJF said he was the devil and MJF has already done his entrances, he did a devil style entrance when he first returned, you know. But now you have another devil, so for a reason I thought like we solved this issue already. I sadistically kind of hope it, but I don't want it to happen. But this has, if done incorrectly, this has the potential of being the higher power storyline.
I think I know where you're going with this. But please.
You know, and it's the whole, it was me, Austin, it was me all along, and it'd be like reveal as MJF, it was me all along, but like we know. You know? Like we know it's you. With Adam Cole, I mean, it's very easy to fake an X-ray if you don't know what to look for. You can easily Google some X-ray stuff, and that would make sense. However, just being from Comic-Con, Adam Cole was supposed to appear, and Adam Cole didn't show up. You know, and I don't know about you, but I don't think a wrestler would miss out on a Comic-Con paycheck if they weren't really injured.
Hey, MJF did that at Double or Nothing.
What's up?
He was supposed to do that meet and greet, but he didn't show. So,
hey, I mean, you never know. Oh my God! It is not Vince. Is that?
Oh,
if Vince was the devil.
Somehow Ariel Armani bought AEW under Tony Khan. That would be the greatest thing ever. Let's have Vince just be the devil.
Yeah, right. Oh, what if it's Kyle O'Reilly? Maybe Kyle's finally back.
Maybe.
You know what it is with AEW? Their roster is so big, and everybody that they've signed or not signed, even though the Bunny is not signed anymore, everybody that's signed doesn't always show up on AEW TV. Sometimes they're relegated to ROH, who doesn't have a TV deal, which is a bad move because I don't want to watch Rampage. I'd rather watch Ring of Honor. You know. And so you don't really see them. It's kind of like, it's hard to establish who's where in AEW. A lot of the time, it's a lot of people are just on both shows, and you don't see everybody else in the undercard. I don't even know Dark Elevation is still going on at this point. So
it's not.
It's not. Yeah, but there's so many people on the roster that you never really see that it could legitimately be anybody.
Except for Captain Insano. There's no way that's Captain Insano.
Oh, I forgot about that. They're having that street fight tonight on AEW.
They are.
Yeah, the one sponsored by Sega, the Like a Dragon street fight, and I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, WWE does the same stupid thing. You know, this was the big match Kenny Omega was hyping out, that his partnership with Sega. But
Man.
if Big Show came out tonight as Captain Insano, I would give this week's 5 stars because he is going to do a street fight and all of that stuff. But yeah, no, the devil could literally be anybody. If it's MJF, I feel like it's kind of a slap in the face. So it's got to be somebody big. Maybe it's Roddy.
Maybe. Like you said, it's one of those things where they have their bloated
It's so bloated.
roster.
Maybe it's
That
Andrade? Like, who knows? Maybe it's Miro?
it could be. Hey, it could be Lana for all we know.
It could be Lana. Or what? Is she going by Lana? Or she can't go by Lana. Is she going by CJ Perry?
I think for some reason I'm always going to call her Lana, even though she is now going by her real name of CJ Perry.
Yeah, Lana sounds a lot better. Um,
CJ Lana Perry.
it is not George Bush. Stop it,
What?
Charles. Charles is just being an antagonist for the sake of being an antagonist. He has the week off. So I don't know. It's gonna remain a mystery. I for as a betting man, I'll go Roddy because give Roddy something to do.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Just to see how the IWC will react, I'm going to say it's Tony Khan, just as a giant troll to MJF.
And Fred's official pick is Aubrey. Aubrey the Rev.
Hey, there's history there, so it makes sense.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, again, there is some weird history there. Maybe it's Renee Young. But let's move on. We can do this all day.
I'm just imagining that.
Or Renee Paquette, my fault. It's not Renee Young. It could be Coach. It could be Jonathan Coachman because Coachman's been talking some shit about WWE for a couple of days now. But let's move on to this. AEW Women's World Championship. Hikaru Shida, the AEW Women's Champion, versus one of the most over characters currently in all of pro wrestling. I don't know how she pulled it off because I thought she was an outcast, but now she was timeless in the black and white motif here. Timeless Tony Storm in LA, and I feel so bad for Hikaru Shida. She just got this belt back, I feel like, and you gotta give Tony's doing great work. It's weird. It is such a wrestling good job. Like this wouldn't work anywhere else in entertainment, but in wrestling, this gimmick works, and Tony's doing a great job. It is such a wrestler's gimmick and a wrestling fan's gimmick, and this is one of those things you got to put the belt on her to see what she does. Like it writes us up. They're in LA. She's playing a Hollywood blonde from the golden era, the quote unquote golden era of Hollywood. It would be a disservice to have her lose in LA. It would probably make sense because I don't see here's the thing. I don't think Hikaru Shida is a strong enough heel. But you can. I just feel like the iron's hot with Tony and to give her this world title. That's just what I feel. Timeless Tony is one of the greatest things on AEW TV. I will give you that. So I'm gonna go with Timeless Tony. What do you think here, Nate?
Timeless title run. That's all you really need. Tony Storm for
I'm
the
sold.
win.
I'm sold. I am completely. Timeless title run is. It's got to be like a 6-month reign too. She's got to go for a long time. She's got to go for a long time. And I feel bad for Hikaru Shida because I like Hikaru Shida. I've liked her ever since she debuted. I think she's a fantastic talent, but you just ran into a freight train in Timeless Tony Storm, and like that train's not stopping for anybody. So we'll see what happens. So yeah, give it to Tony. Damn it. Moving on to a match that I actually think might steal the show. It is a Texas Death Match in Los Angeles. It is a Texas Death Match.
Texas Deathmatch in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's a Texas Death Match in Los Angeles. Hangman Adam Page, the most forgotten person of the Elite, versus Swerve Strickland, and I guess it's Hangman versus Swerve 2 in a Texas Death Match. Listen, I talked about how much I love Hangman Adam Page, and I think he kind of is lost in the sauce and all that is AEW, which is very unfortunate. Yes, death match, quote unquote, because it's not a real death match for reasons. For reasons. But outside of Swerve's really weird sidekick, I forgot his name at this point. I forgot. The Swerve character and the freedom that he's gotten, which I don't think he would have gotten this much freedom under the regime when he was, released and let go of in WWE, but the freedom he's gotten to develop and become this persona and it's kind of this larger-than-life figure, and it's a very unique character that we haven't really seen on such a platform as AEW/WWE. It hasn't been like, this is a character you might see played by an African American performer on the indies and get pretty over, but then you go to a WWE in particular and they might do a total rebrand of them. And Swerve has gotten the freedom. This is a very positive idea. Swerve has gotten the freedom to really develop his character around his persona, and he's a big music head and all of that stuff. And I really enjoy it. We were talking about earlier his progression since Lucha Underground, of how he's become. I've seen him perform. He's fantastic. And I mean, Hangman, kind of Texas Deathmatch type thing. I think Swerve takes it. That's just me. What are your thoughts here, Mr. Nate?
I think that Hangman Page is going to continue his streak of deathmatch wins, and he's going to pull out the victory here to tie it up, and they'll maybe do some big blow-off match at World's End, whatever that event's called at the end of the year that AEW is doing.
State, it's World's End, I think.
Something like that.
It's on Long Island. I should know this, but I don't.
I will say this, that Hangman definitely makes the deathmatch gimmick work. He definitely finds a way to make it very brutal and very very well done. And I think that Swerve is just that extra ingredient that is needed to make this matchup even more sadistically brutal. I mean, we've seen what Swerve can do. Holy shit, it's amazing. Mm-hmm. But you can't just go into a crib and scare some kid and not expect to get your ass kicked by a pissed off parent. So,
So this is interesting. This is breaking news, because we do have people who are watching AEW Dynamite for us right now as we're recording. Frets of the Fretzelmania podcast has just reported that there was a promo tonight where Hangman Adam Page brought up Swerve's firing, Swerve's fiance leaving him, and his kids not talking to him anymore.
Oh, buddy.
And he also mentioned, Hangman Adam Page has also said that Swerve will never make it to the big time. I might have to watch this promo at some point. This solidifies my choice that Swerve is going to annihilate Hangman Adam Page on Saturday. If there is a match that I really want to see, it is this match here. Especially if what Fretz is saying, those promos are legit. This has become a marquee match. And I did not know Jesse Kamea, because he was engaged to Jesse Kamea, the former NXT talent. I didn't know Jesse left him. That is very big news. And to have that be revealed in a promo is, that's a lot. That's a big one. So this has become a much bigger match. It's become a much bigger. You know something that I don't know, Smiley, and I'm going to have to pick your brain about this off air, or we can talk about it next week when you're on the show. Surprise, surprise. But yeah, Swerve, Page, Texas Deathmatch. This will probably steal the show. This is a great AEW style match. Let's move on to another match that could potentially steal the show, but I don't think it will. We have the AEW International Championship. Cassidy, Moxley, 2 again. They had a great showing the first time. It seemed kind of weird that Moxley had dropped so quickly, or that Cassidy had dropped so quickly, or whatever it was. They hot potatoed the international title for a little bit. But now we're doing it again. Everybody's healthy, I think. So this should be fingers crossed. This should be more definitive. For me, this is a toss-up, and until my mind changes, I'm going to defer to you, Nate, so you can figure this out for me.
I'm going to go with Cassidy on this one, because I really don't think that Moxley needs the international title. And I feel like there is somebody else that could take the title off of Cassidy and get that prestige again. I mean, Cassidy has done a great job with that title, no doubting that.
Yeah.
But I think that there's another person that can definitely elevate it more on the heel side of things, and that's Tenosuke Takeshita. So yes, he wins here, but he's going to drop the belt to Takeshita down the line.
I like Takeshita. I've watched Takeshita fight. He's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And the one thing, because Takeshita's part of Don Callis' family, whatever faction Don Callis is calling himself now. The one thing that faction's missing is a champion, legit champion. And I think Takeshita holding the international championship would be great. Absolutely great. Um, Cassidy upsets a Ghost Super Saiyan. Yeah, I'm gonna lean. I liked your reasoning, so I'm gonna go with Orange Cassidy as well. His best friends were from Long Island too, so that kind of gives him a little bit of a push. Nothing against Mox, but at this point, what the hell else is Mox gonna do with AEW? He's chilling right now.
He'll just go and blade himself in the comfort of his own home. It's fine.
Something like that, it's on on an off day, it's what he does. But yeah, let's move on from this. We've got tag titles, so that's still a thing, folks. The AEW World Tag Team Championship is in a fatal four-way championship match. We have the House of Black versus FTR versus LFI Lucha versus the AEW Tag Team Champions in Ricky Starks and Big Bill. And no, folks, you cannot teach that. Ricky Starks and Big Bill are the AEW World Tag Team Champions. Like, we went from Big Cass to Big Bill. There weren't any other names?
No. I guess Big Bob was taken. Big Joe.
Bob's Discount Furniture? Like, what are you going to do?
I think Big Boy would get him into a little bit of copyright trouble. So.
Yes, it would. Shout out to Outkast Andre 3000 coming out with an album on Friday, which I'm very excited for. Yeah, that probably would. Like, I don't. Big Bill. I don't know. I love the alliteration. I mean, this is a match for. This is like, hey, everybody's going to get a time to shine type of match. Honestly, in something like this, I'm going to go with the champs. I think absolute Ricky Starks, and Big Bill will retain. FTR is going to give them a run for their money. But I wouldn't be surprised if FTR wins, but I don't think they will. I'm going to go with Ricky Starks and Big Bill.
I'm going to agree with that.
Yeah.
This is just kind of one of those, like, everybody in the pool, it's okay kind of matchups. So, Big Absolution's going to win. So
he was Kaz XL in TNA. That's right. Wasn't he Kaz XL for a little bit?
I think he was. Yeah.
I think
he was there for a brief little run and then just was like, oh, nope, never mind.
Yeah. I mean, he did have some health issues. I think he became epileptic for a while.
Oh.
I remember reading something like that happened on the indie scene with him, and it was pretty scary. So, like, if he's wrestling, it pretty much means he's healthy. So good for him. But let him keep the titles. Let him be what he was supposed to be years ago. We'll see what happens. Oh yeah, this is also a match. Tag team match. We're in the tag team section of AEW Full Gear. The battle of the people who kind of started AEW. The Young Bucks infighting again with a member of the Elite. Go figure. The Young Bucks are going up against Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho, now known as the Golden Jets. And if the Young Bucks beat Omega and Jericho, they have to disband as the Golden Jets. This is a thing. Jericho has created another faction in AEW that he can hold on to, even though it's just him and Kenny. And just by marketing logic, they just came, and this isn't like Y2AJ, which was like a thing for a week. Yeah, I understand, Smiley. They did just come out with some shirts. I think the Young Bucks take a loss I know it's rare for them to do that, but I think the Bucks take a loss at this point, and the Golden Jets become a thing for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I'm just Golden Jets. But I'm gonna go give a golden shower to this match, even though I know it's gonna be awesome. It is. But
It's gonna be fun. Yeah, we'll give it that.
You also have to remember that we had the Young Bucks versus Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page, which stole the show at Revolution, and was one of the best matches of the year. This one I have less confidence in, and it's not saying that this is going to be a bad match. It's just not as good. We've seen, unfortunately, Jericho having a bit of issues wrestling sometimes. So he's definitely slowing down, in all honesty. So I think that's one of the reasons why. Plus, this weird story about the Young Bucks are just like, oh, why is he in our locker room? Oh, why is this that? Why is that? We're gonna whine like a couple of babies, dude. Stop. You were jobbed out to the Miz and Morrison. Get over it. Just stop.
Miz and Morrison, hey hey, ho ho, one of the greatest songs ever. I bought that shirt because it was so funny, so funny. The Golden Jets exploded revolution. Sure, let's do that. Let's have them a mini run. They got to do something, right? There'll be EVPs or whatever. Yeah, just let's let them do something. Let's move on. Move on to this. More tag stuff this time in a trios form. We have the TNT champion. I put that in air quotes. TNT champion Christian Cage.
Oh no, he is legit.
He is legit now. Okay. Sorry for that. So you have the TNT champion Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne versus the rated R superstar Adam Copeland, formerly had an edge, versus Grandpa Sting and his grandson Darby Allin in in a trios match. This is another interesting, fun match. Edge, Christian, Sting being Sting, Darby being like it matches up all really well. I can't call him Adam Copeland because like that's your real name. Edge team Edge and Sting will win. I mean, you have Edge, you have Adam Copeland or Edge debuting a couple weeks ago, or about a month or so ago. Sting is literally on his retirement tour. That's what he tells us.
Yeah.
It's LA. It's a big market. It's probably the last time. What is I don't even know if Christian has a legit stable at this point. It's just Christian.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's just Christian and everybody else is in the background.
Yeah, it's Christian and whomever. Christian and the dinosaur, I guess.
Christian with dinosaur and a little boy who doesn't have a dad. Oh.
Yeah, Christian and the Dino Nuggets. We'll just call it that.
I like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna agree that team Grandpa, Dad, and Son win.
It is Grandpa. Yeah, Grandpa, Dad, and Son. Yeah. I mean, listen, it's probably the last time Sting's gonna be performing in LA. Give him the freaking win. I'd give it to him. I might show up to World's End just because to see Sting, because I've never seen Sting wrestle. I've seen Sting in the Hall of Fame, but I've never seen Sting wrestle. Watch Edge heel turn for no reason. Yeah, probably.
No,
probably.
I can see that.
Probably. Come on, Edge and Christian working together, awesome. And if it's really if Christian's thing is really called the patriarchy, Jesus Christ, he watched too much Barbie movie. is what that's telling me. But let's move forward. So we have the TBS Championship, because that
it's a triple threat.
It is a triple threat. The TBS Championship, Julia Hart, Chris Statlander. We do know the winner of this, as this just happened on AEW TV tonight. It is going to be Sky Blue. So Julia Hart, Chris Statlander, Sky Blue, who is going full dark sky. From what Mr. Fretz has also reported as well. She's going full dark sky for the TBS title, triple threat match. This is very interesting, especially because when I was researching this match, I was like, oh yeah, Julia Hart's wrestling now? Oh yeah, Chris Statlander still has that title. Like, after Jade left, this title has just gone by the wayside. It really has, and it's a shame. It really is a shame because Chris Statlander's a great talent. Mm-hmm. You know, Julia Hart has a great entrance. I've never seen Julia Hart wrestle, I'm not gonna lie. You know, Sky Blue and Red Velvet are big upcoming talents, and there's just not been a lot of talk about this TBS title once Jade left, which should tell you something. If you're paying attention to it. So with that being said, I see no reason myself to have Chris Statlander drop this belt at all. I think she keeps it for a while. I think that's the best thing possible right now. Sky Blue's coming up, but she's not built up yet. Julia Hart is a name, but she still hasn't really be like, I don't see her as someone like, oh, I can put a belt on her yet. I think you keep it with Stat.
No, I agree with that. And it's really weird when they try to like bleed some of these stories from like Collision to uh, Dynamite. It's like there's no explanation for it. Some people are just like, why is this happening? Why the announcer's even going to announce it? No, no, it's just we're as shocked to see this as you are. It's like just watch your own product. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta give it the Stat for right now.
Give it to the alien girl. She
Yeah,
deserves.
give it the Stat. Let her do something with this. Let her actually do something, create something. Like you got to give these women, you got to give them something, a storyline. Give Stat a storyline to actually be like a fighting and defending champion, or make something of it. I get Timeless Tony is a huge thing, and that's doing a lot. But you got there's other women that you need to utilize this belt for, and that's why the belt is supposed to be there. But what do we know? We are just
We just watch the product and we give our opinions.
we're just commentating. No one should pay us for anything at all, obviously. Then you have obviously 0 Hour, the opening match. During the pre-show, 0 Hours happening, and guess what? MJF is wrestling because MJF is still one half of the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. Because remember, folks, Ring of Honor is still a thing, if you forgot, even though none of our champions are wrestling currently. Most of our champions aren't wrestling. I'll say not none, but most aren't wrestling. MJF is still a Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champion, and I feel so bad anytime Ring of Honor is mentioned on AEW because they've totally shafted them, in my opinion. And in order for MJF to keep his world tag team titles, he has to defend his titles because there's that weird rule that they like to implement in wrestling from time to time. So he's going up against the Guns, and he's going to have a mystery partner, or he might go at it alone. So, do we get a really big surprise during 0 Hour? AEW is kind of notorious for this with the Casino Battle Royals, and whoever the Joker is are usually big surprises. But who is MJF's partner, even if he gives himself a partner?
Boom, boom, Colt Cabana. No, it's going to be Joe. I'm not even going to be surprised at
The
that
king
point.
of TV?
Well, he's not king of TV anymore.
That's right.
He just vacated the title for whatever reason. Some people are like, oh, well, I like it. It's like, no. Let him fucking put somebody over, damn it. Yes, he put MJF over a few weeks ago. Now let him put somebody else over because Samoa Joe's good at that. Let Samoa Joe be good at being Samoa Joe, damn it.
Mm-hmm. You know what he's also good at? Playing characters. Like if you ever watch Twisted Metal, he's fantastic.
It's true. He is a really good character.
He's the body character of Sweet Tooth, and he apparently is also going to be the voice of King Shark in the new Suicide Squad video game. So he's King Shark in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which is coming out next year. You know how little faith they have in Keith Lee to not have him beat Joe on his birthday, and then have Joe drop the title right in front of him after beating you.
It was so funny because I literally said to my friends, I want to see more Keith Lee and Samoa Joe because this was pretty good. And then when Samoa Joe dropped it, I'm like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
They couldn't have at least given Keith Lee. I understand the guy has some health issues, but it seems
potentially,
it seems like he's doing better. But I agree. You couldn't have given like the guy a bone and let him have the TV title for a while, because
I wonder if I know the health issues have been a thing for Keith Lee historically, and I think that kind of screwed up a lot of his WWE run, besides the fact that he was a little bit difficult creatively, which is arguable about some stuff that they wanted him to do and whatnot. Like, I kind of get it. But I wonder if those same things are hindering him in AEW/ROH. Not the help stuff, because the help stuff is always going to be obviously an ongoing issue, but like his ability to be a collaborator with the writing team and whatnot.
I didn't think about that, and that is a good point. I mean, sometimes you have to be a team player, but at the same time, if you know something's crap, you definitely should,
Say
you
that
know.
it's crap, yeah.
Yeah. So you only do one with the pooper scooper? I don't think so.
Yeah. But there's always that line that you kind of have to toe between like, you gotta know your limits, you gotta know what you're willing to do, and sometimes you kind of have to make some sacrifices if you want to get to a bigger platform. And I don't know if Keith Lee is willing to do that.
It's one of those things where it's like, hey, go out there, have a good 10-minute match, but just know that you're not winning. If somebody's going to complain about that, it's like, dude, you're still giving 10 minutes.
You're on TV,
You
yeah.
know,
Make the best of TV. But be what as it may, back to this tag team title dispute. I don't care who it is. I just need them. Like, if it's Samoa Joe, perfect. Because Samoa Joe, last time he showed up on AEW TV, I don't know if he's on right now, he said he's dropping the Ring of Honor television title. He's no longer be the king of TV. He's going after the AEW world title. So, it would be perfect for Samoa Joe to team with MJF and screw him over so that he drops the World Tag Team Championships to the Guns, which there is no reason your main eventer should be doing double duty. Like, I commend you, MJF, for doing this. I think it's great. He's young enough. He's healthy enough. He has the physicality to run two big matches in a row like that. Like, good for him because he's got a lot of, you get a lot of downtime. But at some point, you are the main champion of the company. It becomes more and more of a risk every time that he does double duty on these big shows. Risk of injury, risk of something weird happening. And there is no reason for him to garner such in my opinion, such a minor storyline as compared to the big storyline, because he is the main story of the program of AEW. Why are you doing this? Give these Ring of Honor tag titles and the spot to either defend or win these tag titles to two other people who could use the time. And you're right, Mr. Fretz, it is a problem of overexposure. If you want to be the main eventer, stop doing the opening. Like, I get you're either first or you're last, and if you can do both, props to you. But you're the main event for a reason. You are the highlight of the show for a reason. Why are you overexposing yourself? I do agree with that, Mr. Fretz. So, at this point, fingers crossed I'm going for the Guns. Give the Guns something to do. I think they've earned it. What is your official decision here, Nate?
I'm going to give it to MJF and Joe just for one reason.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that they should drop the belts to the Guns.
Okay.
I think they need to drop it to the Kingdom.
Fair. Give it to an actual ROH team. Yes, I get that.
I know. It's like,
give it to an actual ROH team. Yeah, I get that.
Tony Khan, I'm looking to be a creative guy. Call me.
Seriously. Honestly, because, like, I don't know how good I would be creatively in the world of pro wrestling. I have some ideas, obviously. That's why I have a podcast. But if I wanted to, like, take my hand at it and kind of, like, just experiment with it and not kind of have the pressure of consistently doing stuff on TV, I'd help be a part of creative for Ring of Honor. Why the hell not?
I mean, we got to give Eddie Kingston something to do. He's the champion, damn it.
I love me some Eddie. I'll work with Eddie all day. I just feel bad for all those people who are essentially relegated to Ring of Honor, because what do you do?
Yeah, no, it's really sad because now Athena is on a roll.
She's injured, right?
Is she injured again?
I thought she. I quote me if I'm wrong. I thought she was injured.
She was. Yeah, I think it was. God, I think that was during a match with Willow Nightingale, maybe.
Willow was doing fantastic stuff for a while too.
Yeah. It's just one of those weird things where I think that there's like this consistent deal where it's like an injury happens, Willow's there. Not saying she's the reason they're getting injured. It's just one of those things where unfortunately she's in that circumstance where Mercedes got injured, she was in that matchup. Athena got injured, she was in that matchup. It's like she didn't do anything wrong. It's just one of those things where it's like bad place, bad time, sad coincidence at this point.
Yeah, but at some point, yeah, you've got to get this tag title off of MJF.
Yes.
Let him just run with this thing as the AEW World Champion. Had to be the only thing that he has to worry about. Please, please, please. But folks, that is all of the matches that have been scheduled that we know of for Full Gear. Remember, this happening this Saturday at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles. Find the stream. I'm probably not paying for it. I'm not going to lie to you. Find the stream. Or I might be watching college football, depending on my mood that day. Or wait, do I have an event? I actually think I might have an event. I might be somewhere, but I will catch this at some point.
You're just trying to find many excuses to be.
No. It did. I do have a place to go. I do have a prior engagement I do have to attend. So it's not me being like, oh, I'm going to be away and just making shit up. Like, I do have some place that I have to be at.
It's just the funniest bit of like build up. It's like, maybe I could probably watch it. No, I got a college game day. No, I actually got something else that's going on.
I do.
I'm not saying you're making the excuse. I'm just saying, it's just a funny way.
I can show you my calendar right now.
I believe you. I'm just saying that the way that was built up was perfect.
Be it as it may, on paper, it looks like a pretty decent card. And so we're going to try to crown this. How good do you think this pay-per-view will be? 1 crowns being the worst thing in the world, 10 crowns being the greatest show of all time. For me, I think that this show will probably do ace. Because I gotta leave room for whatever AEW bots that might happen, because I'm so used to being like...
Right.
That's the thing. My fear with it, a long fear I've had with AEW is that they have a problem sticking the finish. That's always been my AEW thing, is that they don't stick the finish. A lot of the stuff in the middle that they do, great stuff. Their match placement is fine. But it's the sticking the finish that sometimes either gets dragged or it's not what we expect it to. Fritz, is that a 7 or a 1, Fred? Spell that out for me, because that looks like a 1 on my screen, but I think that's a 7. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a 7. But so for me, I am gonna also give it a 7. Because a lot of it is a 7. Okay, a lot of it really depends on, for me, because I think the signee reveals themselves. Sorry. On Friday during Rampage Collision, whatever the amalgamation that is. So that's going to be off the table. And that's always a cheap way to push up the rating of a show. But I think if we find out who the devil is on Saturday, that's going to make or break this. And to be safe for me, I'm going to give it a 7. I think the Texas Death Match is going to steal the show. And I think everything else will play into it. But I'm going to go with a 7. Officially. What do you got for me, Nate?
I'm going to give it a 6.7 because of the fact that you mentioned the fact that there's a lot of points where they could find a way to screw this up. And
unfortunately, yes.
There are some matches that I'm looking at and it's like, I am not having faith in how they're going to end this. I feel like we mentioned the triple threat for the TBS title. That's probably going to be one of those things where it's like, hey, women are wrestling, but they're not going to give them that much time.
It's going to be rushed, yeah.
It's going to be bad. The tag team title match, that's going to be rough to watch just because we don't want to see MJF get hurt. Trios match, it's kind of there. For the 4-team matchup again, everybody in the pool because it's slightly warm. And that's not P.
That's not
I will say
nice.
that I feel like there's going to be one more match added, and it's going to be with that signee facing off against somebody. I'll make the prediction it's going to be Nick Nemeth versus RJ City, because why not?
RJ City. You better jump that down to a 6.4. Then at this point. Nick Nemeth versus RJ City. Jesus. My God. Okay, yeah. So that's, I mean... Listen, Full Gear should be good. I mean, this is going to be a learning curve. So you got to put this in perspective as well. For the longest time, AEW had only had maybe 4 major pay-per-views when they first started. And now due to money and their overlords being Warner Brothers or whatever, and obviously Warner Brothers is obviously going to try to start pushing live streaming on Max, which they have already started under the Bleacher Report tab. They are transitioning to more of a monthly schedule with pay-per-views. So it's easy to build when you only have 4 to build to throughout the year. It's a completely different monster when you're building from month to month. And that might take some time to do because it's like, all right, story's over. Boom, we got to do something else. So it's a little bit more short term, short form. So we will see how that develops with them, especially because they're debuting a lot of new shows very very quickly. Wrestle Dream, World's End, it's all coming pretty fast for them, and so we'll see how it works out for them. So I have faith. And their product is becoming better. So it's just you gotta. Now you got to really start to smooth out some stuff and try. It's time for AEW to start taking another step in the right direction. And let's see how they do. Full Gear will be a good indicator of how things might go. But like I said, folks, that is the end of our show this week. I want to thank again Nate, the effing great, for being a part of the show yet again. He is a member of our Wrestle Addict Radio family, host of the Brace for Impact podcast as you've been going through old Impact / TNA programs and storylines and different shows. And TNA is now returning officially full-time next year. And I know you're on a bit of a hiatus, as you so well deserve, during the holiday season. But what is the future of Brace for Impact going to look like?
So, for a lot of people that have noticed, I have not been uploading any episodes for the time being, and that is because of the holiday season. I can announce right now that come 2024, going back on a full schedule. It's going to be every other week. We're going to be talking pay-per-views and such like that. However, to give you guys a little bit of fun stuff, I am going to be trying to create not one, but at least 2 extra episodes of Brace for Impact that will be released around Thanksgiving time as well as Christmas time, because of the fact that I think you guys definitely deserve that. And they're not going to be the typical Brace for Impact episodes. They're going to be a little bit different, so bear with me on that, and I will make the announcement of what the episodes are going to be like on social media. So if you don't mind, Ricky, I'll just plug the social media stuff right now.
I was gonna give you that time anyway, so go right ahead, sir.
Fair enough. Which is at Real Effin' Game. You can check me out on Instagram as well as on the Twitter or the X, whatever the hell they want to call it.
They don't even know.
the thing with they used to be a bird, but now it's not. Definitely check out and because of the fact that I'm wearing this t-shirt, the Game Changer podcast, which will be making its return within the hopefully next month or so. And one of the things that I will say is I've been working with the wonderful King Rickie on a couple of new logos that you might be seeing in the merch stand, possibly in the holiday season, but not get your hopes up. I will say that there is one that I'm pushing for. Hopefully we can get that out by the Christmas time. So other than that, guys, just feel free to check out a lot of stuff that I do. I do have a lot of the matches that I have participated in the previous year on my YouTube, which is on the Game Changer Podcast Network, where you can also check out some great episodes that I had featuring the lovely SoCal Val, as well as members of the gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, or no, it was the Gaw Ladies. There we go.
The Gaw, yeah, gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling is Glow, and they're a little bit different.
Yeah, they have their own glow, to be fair.
They do.
So check out those deals. And hey, if you want to check out some of the archive deals, I was just saying to Ricky that one of these times we're going to have to do another Warfare with the WrestleAddict Radio deal where we get everybody in to do a prediction battle. Check out what happened last time we did this. It was quite the fun time for me. I don't know, but I know that Will kind of still holds a little bit of a grudge from that. By the way, Will's the devil.
Yeah, you know what it is? If we would have known, if WWE would have promoted that War Games was coming to to Survivor Series again, I would have done War Room for War Games, for all of us, because we have YLP, Bracer Impact, Frets, and we would have just done a major crossover show, which we can still do, just not for Survivor Series. Maybe we'll do a Rumble. So maybe it gives you a lot of time to figure things out. Because YLP does have to make a return, and he will be coming back very, very soon. But all of that is in the future. But right now, let's get out of here so that I can start going to edit this stuff in the downtime. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have been listening to Kings of the Rings podcast, episode number 359, Shifting Gears, where we shifted the gear, and Tony Khan took the wheel this week to discuss all things AEW Full Gear, the Devil, who's probably Mephisto from Marvel, and and whatever new major announcement signing Tony Khan has for this weekend. Full Gear is this Saturday with Rampage and Collision happening on Friday. Again, I have been your host, King Rickie Rose. You can find me at Ambassador Biggs across all social media outlets whenever I decide to return. BIGZ Ambassador Biggs. Find Kings of the Rings podcast at KOTR _podcast. Like, share, subscribe, leave us 5-star reviews. We are found everywhere on social media at KOTR _podcast. A link to all of that is in the description below. If you are listening to us, make sure you're listening to us on Wrestle Addict Radio, the cure for the common wrestling podcast, and follow Wrestle Addict Radio socials at addict_wrestle on Twitter, because I'm never calling it X, and Wrestle Addict Radio, all one word, everywhere else. Again, the links to all of that stuff is in the description below. When we come back next week, or when I come back next week, I'm bringing another Midwesterner, a smiley Midwesterner, and we are going to go to war as we break down WWE War Games, coming to you next week. War Games preview show right before Thanksgiving. So before you stuff that turkey, eat that gravy, and stuff your face with even more stuffing, please make sure to tune in as Smiley and myself break down WWE Survivor Series War Games coming from Chicago. I brought a Chicago native for War Games, so it is going to be fun. So until next week, folks, and on behalf of Nate the Effing Great and the Brace for Impact podcast and Wrestle Addict Radio, this has been King Rickie Rose and Kings of the Rings podcast. Goodbye. Good night. We will see you soon. And oh yeah, I'm forgetting one thing. I probably should have brought him on the War Games to be like our sacrificial lamb. It's Slack. Fuck you, Slack.
Fuck you, Slack.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see you next week. All right.
It was really funny because I was thinking to myself, wow, did we go through a full episode without a fuck you, Slack reference?
Oh,
wow.
no, it's always at the end. It
Okay,
is.
fair enough.
It is always going to be at. Don't you worry about that, sir. It is always going to be at the end with that. So yeah. Welcome to the Tip of the Crown Poo Show. So I'm moving around here a little.
I'm trying to understand that picture, the one that literally is just like, thank you for making pro wrestling great again, and it just AEW's title.
That's your friend Frets there. Frets put that in there. He also put this Pokemon one up as well.
I mean, that's a fair one. Daddy.
I mean, when you look at the Pokemon one, like, it does kind of make sense. It does kind of fit, and everything. So yeah, shall we play a game? AEW is still going on for like 15 more minutes, and I don't feel like turning to that at the moment. But I do need to confirm. Oh, that's the information. Thank you, Smiley. Ooh.
The information superhighway?
The
information superhighway?
No, we all know Al Gore created the internet. Okay. I'm checking my phone of all this random stuff. Because like when I'm podcasting is when, oh wow, it's gonna be really warm tomorrow. When I'm podcasting, it's when people always decide to try to contact me. It's like the worst time. I'm like, I podcast on Wednesdays. Ew, that sucks. It's actually just a lot of sports updates. Streams. Big signing. This is Fred's talking about the signing.
Oh, did they make... Oh, God. Tony Khan blew his load already tonight. Come on, man.
Well, what did Tony do now?
No, I was just saying, if he makes the announcement of who the signee is tonight, then...
No. I don't think he's that bad just yet. And
I mean,
just yet, yeah, you know.
I was about to say he did make the announcement to make an announcement that All In
That is true.
next
He
year.
did make an announcement to make an announcement.
It's just it was just one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, All In's next year. We're gonna do ticket sales this year. What? That what? Oh, you're trying to get extra tickets? No, no. You should trust your fans to be like, okay, we're gonna do it like maybe 4 months before the show. You're doing this like almost 6 months. No, it was
Over
nine.
almost a year, 9. Yeah, I mean, I get it. WWE has expanded, their ticket sales for WrestleMania. But that's because it's WrestleMania. Like I get that. It's also 2 nights, and so you kind of have to expand when you do the ticket sales, and that you're not vying for one night anymore. But to do like what almost 9 months in advance for a one night event, granted it's Wembley Stadium, and I get that and stuff, but it's just the number one. It's just the event as of right now, as we know it as of right now. It's just the event. There's nothing else from what I know. And granted, this is a long ways out because it's not till August. What else is there surrounding? Is it All In? It's All In, yeah. What else is there surrounding All In? That's my biggest thing because like if All In is your WrestleMania, you have solidified that, in my opinion. You solidified that as your biggest show of the year. Like that's your WrestleMania. What are you doing to help make that event big, like the biggest thing for you guys? Like it's at this point, it's not enough to say we have Wembley Stadium. Congratulations. Water is wet. What are you doing around the town of London? Why should this be a destination event? WrestleMania is a destination event. The Super Bowl is a destination event. People like cities bid to get them. What are you doing outside of the event to make it a destination that let's say I need to go to this? Hell, even Wrestle Kingdom is a destination event, which kind of like kills my argument a little bit because I don't know anything else around Wrestle Kingdom at New Japan really does, but it's still like a 2 night event. It becomes like a big thing. But if your main competitor is WWE, which is what Tony's thing is, because it's personal for him, then what are you doing to support that major event? Because I've said this before, and you were at WrestleMania, and you were around for the whole week. The worst thing about WrestleMania week is WrestleMania.
This is true.
It's true. Which says something to you. Like the worst thing about WrestleMania week is WrestleMania.
Especially when they're done, you get drenched out.
That's why I drove, because I could. But that's the thing. Like WrestleMania is a show, and I'm gonna have a fun time regardless. But I don't go to WrestleMania for WrestleMania. Like I do, yes, but I go to hang out, to go to the city, to have a good time, to do all the other random stuff outside of WrestleMania. WrestleMania is like my resting time. you know. So it's one of those things that hopefully it starts to build. They can start to build something around it.
Yeah, it's just kind of like when they did the first All In and then All Out the year after.
Mm-hmm.
They had Starcast, so there was at least something going on that kept.
That's what's missing. That's what it is. A Starcast. Starcast was like the Starcast idea was brilliant.
It's amazing. It's one of those things where I still have really fond good memories of that. I mean, oh God, I will say this, that one of the best memories I have was we talked about the bunny, was that my first time meeting Allie and Rosemary was great just because I immediately was just like, I love Rosemary. And then I just said, it's like, well, what about Allie? It's like, eh. I think it's funny because the following day, karma hit me because She said to me, "I remember you. You hurt my
I
feelings."
thought
I'm
you were
like,
talking about the deity karma, but you're talking about like the actual person karma.
I've yet to meet her yet, but it's one of those things where it's like, even nowadays, I'd be like, I know you'll still munch my head off like it was a freaking piece of bubble gum. No
Hmm.
thanks.
Shout out to Awesome Kong. Um,
She's amazing.
but yeah, no, that is the thing. I think Starcast is the perfect thing. I mean, you need to do a little bit more in Starcast, but Starcast is an awesome thing that they should have kept.
Yeah.
Like Starcast was like their WrestleMania access, and that's something that they should keep just for, literally just for All In.
No, I agree with that. And it's one of those things where I think that's when they decided to bring in like local restaurants and businesses, and they had the trucks, I think, for that, because I remember,
Oh, they had
uh,
food trucks. That's awesome.
yeah, they had the food trucks when Chris Van Vliet interviewed Colt Cabana, and one of the greatest things that happened from there was they gave him the food during the show, and me and a couple of friends were just egging on Colt to be like, "Just take one bite," and Colt's just like, "I'm not going to eat while the show's going on." And he just grabs it, he eats it, and he's just like, "You can't give me a messy burger without a napkin, man." And they proceed to give him like a tiny little napkin to start.
Coca Ben's one of the coolest wrestlers I've ever met. I met him in New Orleans. He's really fun, really nice guy. So, but yeah, no, Starcast would have been perfect because, like, I mean, obviously ran with them and then went to Starcast. Like, it was a huge indie thing, and AEW is indie-rific because that's what they build their brand off of. And why just BB Indie WrestleMania?
Right.
Just do it. It's simple. Just do that. And it's far away enough because they keep it in August. It's far away enough from WrestleMania that you could do like a lower tiered WrestleCon.
Oh yeah.
And you can just call it Starcast, because WrestleCon is kind of already a WrestleMania week thing. And Starcast could be their WrestleCon type thing. Paul White did not become Captain Insano. That is a misstep. And MJF is closing the show, which is appropriate.
Yeah.
Very, very appropriate.
Because he's the champ. He just doesn't have the physical belt, but he's the champ.
Yeah, that's right. Jay White stole it.
Stole it, or just, borrowed it.
Borrowed it without the intent to give it back.
Oh my God.
Tomato.
I forgot last week's what was it? MJF and the Acclaim versus Bullet Club Gold was for possession of the belt, and Jay White wins. So it's like, well, this might as well have been a title match.
So, hold on. Because I didn't watch Dynamite, clearly. So, I need to wrap my head around this. Because there is wrestling logic, and I understand that. But then there's also stupidity. So we're gonna have a trios match for possession of a world title belt, but not call it a championship match. And Jay White won possession of the belt, and if I remember anything from all of my lawyer friends and just lawyers in general, and I watch a lot of SBU, possession's 9/10 of the law.
Yep. Yep.
Oh my God.
I'm so glad I didn't bring that up during the show.
that I hate to say who writes this shit. But we're on the post show, so who writes this shit?
Not Vince Russo, apparently.
Surprised me. So that's
I see the gears are just slowly trying to turn, but it's like they're stuck on this one part.
Because I'm stuck in the hole that they put themselves in. Because, I mean, writing yourself into a hole can be a good thing if you're able to write yourself out of a hole. But there's also something about this. There's also the component of you can write yourself into a hole, but you have to also make it make sense. And right now, this doesn't make sense to me, which is fine, because I've been trained from watching Marvel movies that things don't always make sense at the end of a show, movie, because that's why it's designed that way. So I have a hard time. I'm having a very difficult time figuring out where you go from that. and making it make sense. Like, because at this point, that's a child storyline.
That is true.
Like, I was expecting something for your main title picture to be a little bit more sophisticated. I don't think I'm asking for too much.
No, no, but you
Yeah.
know, even when you ask you a little too little, seems like it's too much, especially Tony Khan.
I guess. Let me see. I wanna switch gears real quick because we didn't get a chance to do this last time because we had audio issues the last
Yeah.
time you were on. So I want to do a quick MIB asshole before we get out of here,
Okay.
and everything. I'm looking for a good one, and I do MIB asshole because I just go through I go through and read them to see like what catches my eye. So I'm looking through the first page right now. Um,
Just want to clarify. I believe that my response to your last one was that no, you're not the asshole. So let's see if that trend continues with this one.
I gotta. There are some juicy ones that I hear. That's a funny one. But I want to try to dive into something. Let me see. I want to see one's got like good reviews. Ooh, nope. I'm not gonna touch that one.
Is Ryback the greatest wrestler of all time? Nope.
Nope. Yeah, that's a hard no. That's a weird one.
Am I the asshole for thinking Ryback should retire? Nope.
Let's see. Oh, a lot of these ones are like serious relationship ones, and I don't have the capacity right now to mess with this. Um,
You've already had the capacity to try to figure out the logic of the world title picture, so yeah, maybe we'll try to do like a softball with this one.
Let me see. I'm looking for one. There's one that says everyone sucks. That's a good one.
I mean, come on. I think no matter what, it's gonna be one of those things like, are you the asshole? No, just because there's a point where everybody does suck.
Yeah.
We should that day.
There's one I saw, but I'm gonna go to the next page to see if there's something that I really really like. Or else I'm gonna go with the other one. Let's
All right.
see. Let's see. Da. Some of these don't have good traction. Wow, that's too much. I will read that one later, but that one's funny.
Well, what's the title, just so I know?
Am I the asshole for accusing my mother-in-law of emotional incest?
Jesus.
Yeah, I
Uh,
was like, oh, that's a lot. Oh,
Yes.
uh, let me see.
Amazing what people think of nowadays.
I mean, am I the asshole is great because it's under the veil of anonymity most of the time, unless they reveal themselves. Uh, okay, we're gonna go back to the one I saw before, which I was like, that one seems interesting enough. This one I think has already been solved, but we're just gonna go at it. We're gonna go at it as if we haven't solved this mystery yet. All right, here we go. All right, this is a good one. Okay, it states this: am I the asshole for beating my parents to the chase and moving out in the middle of the night? Yeah.
I'm liking this already.
So, the writer is an 18-year-old female, overheard conversations with my mom and dad, who are 39 and 40 respectively, about how they plan to kick me out shortly after my 18th birthday. The way they were talking about it seemed like they were dead serious, and the way it was brought up multiple times made it seem like they were going to kick me out too. So I decided that I wouldn't give them a chance to kick me out and made plans with my friend Riley, in quotes, whoever Riley is, who's 17 and a female, and to stay at her place until I graduated and moved into a college dorm or had an apartment of my own. Riley's parents were horrified by But I thought my parents would kick me out the second I turned 18 and agreed to let me stay at their place as long as I graduated high school. Riley, her parents, and my boyfriend Cole came after midnight to help me take my belongings to their car and drive me to Riley's house. My parents woke up in the middle of this and asked me what the hell was going on. I kind of shrugged and told them that I was moving out before they could kick me out. My parents tried to deny this and attempted to stop me from leaving, but there was nothing that they could do since I'm a legal adult. True. By the way, I wasn't going to leave in the middle of the night without any goodbye. I already put a note on the kitchen table where my mom goes through first in the morning, explaining what happened. Right now, I'm at Riley's house in their spare bedroom, and I've gotten bombarded with calls from my parents asking me to come back and not to tell my grandparents about this. I don't know where the grandparents came up. In one text, my mom called me an ungrateful bitch for leaving in the middle of the night, and she should have kicked me out sooner. Well, that's all we got. And, I mean, I was originally going to say, I need more information. However, according to this text message, it's all the information I need. You know. That's all the information I don't think she's the dick here.
No, no, it's kind of like it's kind of one of those things where you're just looking at it and you're thinking, okay, let's look at it from like all sides here. She heard mom and dad say, gonna kick her out at 18. She thought, okay, I'm gonna save them the trouble. She was nice enough to at least leave some sort of communication to them that, hey, I'm moving out.
Yeah.
And then they kind of do on this, the parents kind of do on like this petty deal, be like, oh no, we didn't mean that, we did that, we come back, come back, come back, and don't tell the grandparents. Right there, I'm like, what? What do they have to do with this? And then,
Yeah.
like you, that's where it's like took a little bit of a turn. And then that text message where it's like, first of all, she didn't need to leave you a note. She beat you to the punch because apparently you guys were talking about it, and you're denying it.
Yeah.
And you want your parents to know that you're being kind of quote unquote bad parents. So was she the asshole? No, no. I fully agree. She was not the asshole in this situation, especially when the evidence is there. It's going to be utilized against them.
Yeah, the evidence was that's clear and evident evidence there. That is. I'm wondering because I mean we only know her side, and we barely get the other person's side of the story, but that's why Reddit's here. Um, I wonder why they would like. I'm not a parent. That I'm aware of. I'm not a parent, so I can only assume, based on how I was brought up, you know, um, and everything like that, that you would want to maintain some sort of living place for your offspring
Mhm.
in some capacity. Understanding, obviously, you get older, you need to contribute to the house more. Like I understand all of that. But have a what seems like a premeditated plan to kick them out. It just makes me wonder what happened. You know what I mean? Like what occurred that made that what led you to this point? As two parents, like what led you to that point?
No, that's a really good question. It could have been something major, like maybe she did something like trash their car or maxed out their credit cards or something like that, or refused to get a job,
Yeah.
something like that. But um, yeah, without that context, it is right now kind of one of those things where it just seems like they're saying just, oh, well, you're getting booted out at 18, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking for another one because I'm not satisfied with that one. Let me see. I'm messing with the metrics now.
Because why not?
I was gonna be like, there's one that says, "Am I the asshole for drinking on my designated driver nights?" The answer is yes. Like I'm not even gonna entertain that.
That is a firm yes.
Yes, you're a designated drunk driver. That's not a good thing. Let me see. I'm looking for some hot button ones right now. A lot of family issues. Am I, Let me see. Could have been just your 18 you're out the door. That's a very hard. It's a very
I've
hard line, especially these days.
Yeah, I've heard that. It's just one of those things where it's like I don't understand why 18 is the age of being like, nope, you can live out on your own. We did our job.
Yeah, it's clear. Trust me. If I were to move out at 18, I was not. I was not ready. I was ready to party. I wasn't ready for.
I don't think I would have been ready either because I would have been, I think, just starting college, and I would have just been maybe a year over working at Walmart. So
Mm-hmm. Let me see. Let me see. No, I'm looking at like the all-time great ones on this list.
and some are just like not even worth discussing.
No, some of them are kind of just like there've been so much on it. That's a weird one.
I was about to say, I don't know. The emotional incest one was definitely hard to
Yeah,
top.
that one's. I was like, wow, that's a tough one for me to really get behind. Uh,
It's kind of like a car wreck where it's like you don't want to look at it, but at the same time, something is causing you to just look and see what's going on.
oh, this is a good one. Okay, this is an interesting dynamic. I like this one. We're gonna this was 4 years ago. This is what it was. So this guy writes, "Am I the asshole for giving my ex-wife a large amount of money that I won despite the anger of my girlfriend?"
What?
I know, piqued my interest too. That's why we're here. So it states, I recently won a fuck you amount of money. I won't say exactly how much, but it's in the millions. Makes me feel funny even typing it's enough to make me even typing this, it's enough to change the life of myself and my family. Okay. My ex-wife is the mother of my two kids. She's an amazing woman and good to the bone. We divorced 6 years ago because I had an affair with my current partner. All right. I was in a low place in my life and I fucked up. She was an incredible pain, but like a fucking saint, she allowed me to still see our kids, who mean the world to me, allowed our divorce to be as pain-free as possible, despite the fact that I know she was hurting. She is still close to my parents. She is respectful to me, although she refuses to talk to my girlfriend. Again, understandable. She was actually the first person I phoned after my mom and pops after I found out I won the lottery. She was pleased for me, joked that I could take the kids on a world round trip, and that was that. Nothing else. As soon as I won, I knew I wanted to give her a significant amount. I still love her. Well, at least you typed it out because I knew that from the jump. I wanted to give. He goes, I still love her. She's the mother of my babies, and I feel like this is some small, tiny way I can show her that I'm not a complete fuck up. She deserves to know that I care despite my mistakes. She also works a shitty job in the public library, which pays her peanuts. She would actually be able to pursue her hobbies this way. Give our kids a better life between us. I haven't discussed this with my ex yet, but I have with my parents, who strongly agree, and my lawyer, who was very surprised but on board. No shit, your lawyer would be very surprised about this. Long story short, when I told my girlfriend, she was livid, screaming that I'm disrespecting her, accusing me of still being in love with my ex-wife. I'm not in love with her. We've both grown apart, but of course I still love her for being an excellent co-parenting partner and mother to my kids. That is a slippery slope. My girlfriend is threatening to break up with me, and to be honest, I'm feeling incredibly relieved over the threats.
Right.
I don't plan on changing my plans, but am I the asshole? So there's a couple of things. I think he, and this is like my therapist's mind coming in. I think he is still, because he's saying my love for her is platonic and we've developed kind of that love in that way, which is very, very possible. The way it reads to me, from after reading it for one time, I think he's still romantically in love with his ex-wife, and I think he's realizing it. And the biggest tell is that when, and this is sometimes in therapy, sometimes therapists will use this when they're trying to figure out who's important to somebody, is you know who's important to you if you ask them, whenever good news happens to you, who do you want to contact first? And who do you say? His mother, his father, and then his ex-wife. The girlfriend was not in the top three. That's a big sign for me that I think that he is still romantically involved. He's romantically in love with his ex-wife. It reads like that to me. It really, really does. But I mean, be it as may, how much money did he win is what I want to know. Because if I am the girlfriend dating this guy who just won the lottery and he says, I want to give some money to my ex-wife because she's still the primary caretaker of my children, and then also she's been really good to my children even after the divorce, and when the divorce is going through, the marriage I left to bang you, I want to give her something. He's writing it as if it's only a little amount of money. So, like, if he gets to keep the majority of the money, why would you be mad at this? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think you hit a lot of the points on the head. Obviously, this is one of those things where, she's pissed off because I guess she doesn't feel like she's the most important person in her life. But you also bring up a good point that might be because he has some unresolved feelings about his ex-wife. Where he still admits himself, no, I'm not in love with her. I'm not in love with her. It's like,
now you are.
Sort of says otherwise.
The way it reads, it says completely otherwise, and the other telling line is like she's making threats of leaving me, and he goes, and to be honest, I'm feeling incredibly relieved over the threats. He doesn't want to be there anymore with her.
It is kind of one of those things where he's still going to have a good substantial amount of money, and she feels like that's not enough. So it is kind of one of those things where he's definitely dodging a bullet with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's one of those things where it's like, dude, I think you're a little more, you're a little more in love with somebody than you're letting on. I think you really look yourself in the mirror and try to convince yourself that. And
Yeah.
if you can't, then obviously you want to try and make things work out. And, credit where credit is due. He's doing it because he wants to make sure that his kids are taken care of. And he doesn't speak ill will of her, so it's not like she's going to, go out gambling or something like that.
Yeah.
She works at a shitty job at a library, so, I mean...
I see it more, and I don't think he said this more, and he actually comments in the thread, like when people ask him some questions. I see it more as, yes, he's giving money to his ex-wife, but that's also money going to his children as well. So, like, yeah, is she getting some money? Yeah, but I feel like that money's going to go to the fucking kids. It makes sense to me. Obviously, the kids are probably underage. They can't receive the money yet. Like, if you're smart, you put it in a trust. It accrues money over time. It becomes a little bit bigger, and we're able to utilize it for other shit down the road. But somebody asked him, did his current girlfriend know that he was married? Like, did she willingly engage in this? So he says, she did know I was married to my wife. Yes, I agree, but her claiming disrespect is BS because we both engaged in very disrespectful behavior towards my ex-wife. He's still in love with his ex-wife. The money is being given with the full intention that the ex-wife did me right over these years, and I want to do right by her too. She's the mother of my kids. She also deserves a good life. I also want the kids to grow up in two wonderful environments instead of dad having a nice place and mom's place being comparatively bereft. I don't think that would be fair. Makes sense. I mean, he's clearly still in with his ex-wife. He still loves his ex-wife, and I think it's kind of, I think he's trying to win her back. But it seems like I'm fair in the assumption of saying that most of this is more so going towards the children.
Yeah. And how can you be an asshole for that? That's the thing.
Yeah. He won a crap ton of money, and he's trying to solidify his family.
He's an asshole because he's trying to make a legacy.
Yeah,
no,
not the Randy one.
Or the Flair one, for that matter.
Yeah. So very interesting stuff. So with that being said, Nate, I'm going to let you be, or we're going to get rid of this stream and everything. So thank you guys for joining us and playing another I'm the Asshole. So I'll come back next week. Probably won't be live, but we'll see. I'll see what happens because I've got shit to do and all that stuff. So yeah, bye.
Have a life, damn it.
Midnight music.